Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video on wizards. So I have every wizard here. I have all their points and some basic breakdowns. I've mentioned like really good items and stuff like that that you could have, and I've numbered them first to 17. It's 17 instead of 16 because of the Demon Prince, because he can be in Warriors of Chaos and Demons. And also, this video is supposed to be mostly about level 4 wizards. Okay, I didn't really include level 2s or whatever. I just included the highest level wizard. And it's supposed to be strictly on magic and its uses. It's not really about if they can do combat and stuff. Um, Otherwise, Demon Prince would pretty much be number one. Um, okay, so let's get into it. Going from 17th, and again, it's 17 because I put Lord of Change as demons, and for Warriors of Chaos, I put the Sorcerer Lord, but Demon Prince definitely should be mentioned, so I put 17, so 16. Okay, so 17th is Lizardmen, Slan Mage Priest. Now, for people that come from, like, Warhammer Fantasy, they're going to be totally stunned and blah, blah, blah. But I truly believe that the easiest choice I had while making this list was that the Slan is easily the worst level 4 caster in the game. And the reason for that is because his points are 285 points as a level 4 wizard. That is really, really high. Now, he does come with the ability to fly, which is nice. And he also comes with a 5 up board save, which is nice. Comparative to regular wizards, like an Empire Wizard or whatever, he's also just decently tough. But, I mean, you don't need that, right? Like, you want your wizard to be as efficient as possible at casting. The only bonuses he gets to, like, casting or dispelling is, like, an actual dispel scroll, so an automatic dispel, which is really nice, but that's extra points, right? And it's only one use only. Um, he can take the plaque upgrades, which is like a bonus cool thing, like kind of like virtues for Bretonia or whatever. And I mean, they can do all kinds of various things. The most notably is to make him ethereal, but again, you're kind of just like wasting points on that, right? Like it's very cool and stuff, but who cares, right? So yeah, I made the Slan Mage Priest number 17. In my opinion, easily the worst caster in the game. Okay, so number 16 here is Ogres. Again, he's extremely expensive at 260 points as a level 4 wizard. Now, he does again come with the ability that he's pretty tough, and he actually does 2 impact hits. You can give him a magic weapon or whatever, and it could be pretty cool, but at the end of the day, trying to talk about the most efficient casters and stuff. He doesn't have any bonuses to cast. He doesn't have any bonuses to dispel. No rerolls, nothing like that. The Halfling Cookbook is pretty good, but it's nothing crazy. It adds 3 inches to all your casting and dispelling. Anyways, yeah. Number 15 I have as Lord of Change. Again, he's just extremely expensive. 370 points. Not that great. He's a monster, so he can be instantly killed by swords and whatnot. He does get bonuses to cast. He can do a few cool tricks and stuff, but ultimately 370 points, which is easily the highest point costed character here. It's not that great. Now, that being said, he does have access to reroll a single dice each turn, but again, that's an upgrade, so he'll end up being like 400 and whatever. I mean, that's so many points for casting 1 or 2 magic missiles. Like, it's just not that great. Okay, we're going on number 14. 14 I have is the Empire Wizard. Best thing he has going for him by far is that he's cheap. He's only 160 points, which is equal to the other cheapest wizards in the game. So that's what puts him above the other guys. Just super, super cheap level 4. And that's pretty cool, right? It's cool. Only 160 points. Got a level 4. Boom. Cool things he can do is take a staff for +1 to cast magic missiles and assailants, which is really cool. And also, for some messed up reason, they have the widest Lord selection in the game. It's kind of weird. And again, it's not that useful, right? It's just, I guess, while building your list, you can have all kinds of different options. Okay, moving on. Number 13, I have as Skaven, the Gracier. He's 215 points. So again, just like, that Empire Wizard's only 160. This guy is quite a bit more expensive. The cool thing about him, though, is that he gets D3 Warpstone tokens, and that adds D3 to your casting roll. So that's really, really good. It can definitely help you outcast a lot of the other wizards. But at the end of the day, it's just a lot of points. The other thing I will say about a Gracier is you can have a Gracier instead of like a Warlord, and he's spreading that leadership 7, which is super, super critical for Skaven. So, I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever use him, especially because he can have one of the most magic missiles in the game, because there's an arcane item that's called Storm Demon, which is a magic missile, and then Warp Lightning is a magic missile, and then he can have just the regular magic missiles from his lore, just as everybody else. So yeah, but he ultimately, he's still pretty expensive. 215 points is a lot. Okay, moving on to number 12. That's Chaos Dwarves. He doesn't get any bonuses to cast, really. He's just a level 4. But what makes him very cool, and definitely a cut above what we've already mentioned, is that he's also an engineer, and he's also kind of a combat character. So lastly, he can have a mount, and then you can add runes to it, and he could become toughness 9. So, that alone, a toughness 9, anything, doesn't matter what it does, toughness 9, it could carry you quite a long way. Now, he would be outrageously expensive at that point. He'd be around 500 something, maybe close to 600. But base, he is 225. So, that's actually pretty good. 225 for a level 4 wizard and an engineer and kind of a combat character. That's not bad, right? Number 11 is going to Bretonnians. Now, they're way up there past the rest because they're one of the cheapest, only 5 points more than the cheapest, which is 165. She gives MR2 to the unit, which is really good, and magical attacks to the unit. So they're giving, not only is she casting spells, she's just innately doing other things for seemingly 0 extra cost. It's like if you had an Empire Wizard compared to a Bretonnian Wizard, you're paying 5 points for MR2 and magical attacks to the unit. In addition to that, she can hide amongst the unit if there's 10 or more. Really, really good. So actually, I think she's middle ground, right? Like she's like where wizards are starting to get good now, is Bretonnians, I think, for sure. Number 10 is the Demon Prince. He can get all kinds of bonuses to cast. He has access to a whole bunch of different really good signatures. And the main thing is about him is he technically is infantry still. So he can see 360, charge 360, be on his own, casting magic missiles, and then charging into combat and fucking everything up. So that's really good. In addition to that, he comes with a ward save and regen. Also, he's one of the very few wizards that can have armor and still cast. So, it's just wild. It's really, really good. Now, he is quite expensive. Just base, no wings, just a level 4 wizard, 310 points. So, obviously, he's going to be closer to 400 by the time you kit him out and stuff. Maybe pushing 500 kind of thing. But at the end of the day, he can just mosey on down by himself right downtown. Nothing's going to stop him. Cannons can shoot him. He could even get into combat where someone has like Monster Slayer because he's just infantry. but he hits like a monster. He's very good. If I considered everything, stats, combat, defensive skill in this as well, again, I think he would be number one. Okay, moving on to number 9. Number 9 is Orcs and Goblins. The Night Goblin Shaman is what I chose. I think it's their best. Again, he is equal to the cheapest wizard in the game at only 160 points. And the only other thing that makes him good, and I put this pretty high up because of it, is the best hex spell in the game. Minus D3 toughness and initiative. Absolutely insane. I mean, if that goes on one time, could change the game. You could go from completely losing to, oh, actually, your whole unit's toughness 1, and my goblins just killed them all. So in addition to just being literally the cheapest in the game, pretty good. Number 8 is Wood Elves. So I put them at number 8 because they're decently cheap, 185 for the wizard. But what makes him really, really good is he has by far the best dispelling in the game. If you buy the arcane item for him, the staff, he gets, it's basically just infinite dispel scrolls. Every time you dispel, if you're within 3 inches of a wood, which obviously you will be, and you can even cast a spell to create a wood, and then you're within a wood. So, yeah. And then you can't be seen in it's just great. It adds 3 inches to the dispel range as well. It does exactly that. Read what a dispel scroll does. He gets that forever. It doesn't matter if it's magic missile, it doesn't matter if it's hex. All these other ones are situational like that, like while you're dispelling a magic missile, while you're dispelling a hex. This is just while you're dispelling. You just get infinite dispel scrolls. So obviously that's insanely good. Number 7 is High Elves. High Elves are really, really great. Again, equal to the Wood Elf Wizard at 185. What makes him really, really good is he just gets a built-in, for free, reroll 1 casting roll per turn. That's obviously outrageously good. In addition to that is one of, I think, 3, maybe 4 armies that have an actual dispel scroll from back in the day, aka automatic dispel. So obviously that's really, really good too, coupled with that reroll casting roll every single turn. Obviously, very good. Okay, moving on to that was number 7, going on to number 6. Where is it here? Number 6, Dark Elves. I think Dark Elves are just slightly better because they have the same exact thing with the reroll 1 failed casting roll per turn, but they have an arcane item that allows them bonus to casting. So now, basically, one of the best casters in the game, simply because he's going to fail on average once per turn, and he just gets to reroll it, in addition to having bonuses to cast. It's very, very good. Really, really strong. And also, he's, for some reason, only 180 points versus 185. Very nice. Okay, going up to number 5. So we're at the top 5 now. And I think it's Warriors of Chaos with a Sorcerer Lord. This guy is outrageously tough because he can have armor. So you can just deck him out to have all kinds of different equipment that almost every single other wizard simply is not allowed to have. Makes him crazy, crazy tough. The other thing is, if you make him Tzeentch, you put him in a Tzeentch bunker. There's basically infinite bonuses to cast. You can't, and it doesn't cost much. Like, having him in a bunker is kind of good anyway. And then now it's giving bonuses to cast. Like, it's just very good. And then when you get to combat, he actually swings a little bit. You think he has 3 attacks at strength 4, weapon skill 5. And then, you try to hit him back and he has a 3-up save for armor, silver and steel, or chaos armor, or whatever. It's just really, really tough. And he's 195 points. Okay, going to number 4. I gave it to the Dwarf Anvil of Doom. Anvil of Doom is very, very tough, even though it can't be in a unit. It has to be on its own. What actually makes it tough is because it's going to be quite far behind. You need to get to it. A lot of times you're not even going to be able to see it. If you're a shooting army like Wood Elves, it's going to be hard to get to that point where you can shoot it. You're going to risk quite a lot of stuff. What else makes it really, really, really good is the spells. Every single spell it can cast, one spell goes off, it's great. To be honest, every single one of their spells is pretty much equivalent to the best spells in the game. Like, obviously not. Itchy Nuisance is clearly still better. But, re-rolling your saves, +1 to your save, that's insane. A 27-inch magic missile, that's insane. Moving again, very good. Every one of their spells is really, really good. And then also it's very handy at dispelling. Pretty much an auto-include in dwarf armies, really. Number 3. At number 3, we have Beastmen. Beastmen has a Bray Shaman. He's only 180 points. He has access to the best magic missile in the game, which is 5d6. It's only strength 1, but it's no armor saves allowed. Now, at first glance, you're like, okay, Danny, what is that? 17 hits on average? Whatever. 3 wounds? Not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal when you consider that he can buy a magic item that allows him to reroll all 2 wound rolls with magic missiles. This makes it absolutely busted. It can kill anything in the game. Invincible Dragon? Absolutely. Huge unit of knights? Easily. On average, it does 6 damage, which is just completely outrageous. Unit of 6 Bretonnian knights? Dead. Just like that. On average, 1 makes their ward, whatever. Like, every time it casts, 5 knights dead. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. In addition to that, he can be in a fucking chariot. Makes him 360 line of sight. And now he's quite tough as well. In addition to, if he does get into a really thick spot, he might charge you. It's a chariot. Hitting me with impact hits and stuff. Overall, all these things make him a very, very good argument for number 1 best caster in the game. But I do think that these other 2 simply do a little bit more. I will say, though, that you could absolutely make an argument for the Beastmen Bray Shaman being the best caster in the game simply because Magic Missile is too broken. But I gave it to number 2, Tomb Kings. He's 170 points. You have to have him anyway. And the biggest reason, because he can bring guys back. He's 170 points. That is literally 10 points more than the cheapest wizards in the game. And he brings guys back to life. That is fucking dumb. That's like the only way to get better than that is a necromancer from Vampires, which does the same thing, except he's 10 points cheaper. So that's number 1. Vampire counts, Master Necromancer. In my opinion, easily the best caster in the game, all things considered. You have to have a wizard anyway. Why not have him? Invocation of Nehek, or if you're a Tomb King player, Arise, brings guys back to life based on your wizard level, so you're incentivized to have a level 4 anyway. So all things considered, you're basically going to have one no matter what. And it brings guys back to life. If you bring back 5 Blood Knights once, this guy's literally free. He's already paid for his points. Done. Even if you start raising zombies turn 1 and turn 2, that's effectively paying for your cost. Graveguard get hit, boom. you're bringing them back for sure. Nothing in the game's basically one-shotting those guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the fact that you're casting 4 spells. This guy, in my opinion, the Tomb King and the Vampire Counts level 4 wizards, they'd be worth it if they didn't cast anything at all. The fact that they're casting 4 spells, dispelling spells, just as effectively as any of the other wizards that I've listed here, besides the one that have bonuses, is just ridiculous. I think they're outrageously undercosted, in my opinion. Obviously, I have to have them. They're very good and stuff like that. I get it. But, I mean, looking at that Empire Wizard at 160, and then looking at that Necromancer at 160, it feels bad. It feels really bad. You could look at any of these other guys. Look at a Grey Seer compared to a Master Necromancer. It's absolutely embarrassing. The amount of work that those Master Necromancers and those Lich Priests are going to do compared to any of these other wizards, besides, of course, like a Lord of Change or a Demon Prince for combat, maybe. They could do quite a lot of work right there as well, for sure. But it's not guaranteed, and they might end up in a bad situation. In addition, while being in combat, they're losing a ton of effectiveness because now they can no longer dispel, and they can't cast like 90% of their spells. So it's really, really bad to be a combat wizard in this edition. That's pretty much all I got to say. If you disagree or you have any other comments to make, or if you think that Beastman should definitely be number 1 because your name's Ryan, let me know. Thanks. Bye.